Good morning, everyone. So nice to see you. Welcome to my studio. I'm Virginia Killmore, and I'm so happy you're here. Today I have this beautiful card that you just saw that we're going to be making, and I have a lot to share, including a couple sneak peeks. So let's get started. So this lovely card, it's very washed out, is going to be made today very, very quickly. And I'm going to zoom out so you can see all the stuff that you're going to need to make the card. Always on my cards, I always have a list here, and I also post that list usually on the YouTube channel that I'm on, as well as my Facebook page. I try to post both these videos now on both sites. Today we're going to be using these two inks, which is Seaside Spray and Pretty Peacock, to make this card. But before I start, I want to give you a sneak peek. This, is the new mini catalog. I can only show you the cover, but oh my God, this set is gorgeous. I just love this set. I just ordered it. And the thing I'm most excited about is the beautiful gold flecked, they call it gilded, but you're going to be able to add gold to our cards. It's stunning. And the best part is January, February, March, we always have celebration. And this is the cover of the celebration catalog. There's going to be paper, stamps, little sticker kits. It's just a great catalog. So I just wanted you to get a sneak peek. Don't tell anyone I saw it. You saw it. But I'm also going to share with you a card where the card we're using today uses two items from the new catalog. So I wanted you to see that. Just a reminder that this catalog will be ending up the end of December. The new catalog starts January 5th. So I think this one winds up January 4th. So if there's anything you want, this is the time to order it. But let's get back to our card so that we can get started on it. So today I'm using this ink. I'm using 3 stamp sets. The first one that I'm going to show you, I love the script. This is a celebration stamp set. That means that come January, for every $50 you spend, you can pick a stamp set from that celebration catalog, and this is one of them that I've picked. I love the script writing, and there's stuff that can go on the inside, which I used inside this card. So that's the card, the stamp set that I used for that. I also used Beautiful Friendship, which I love. I used the roses and some of the inside this flower. And then I also used the leaves from Versailles. I somehow thought that set had retired, and I was wrong. So I'm so happy it's still around. But to get started, we are going to start with an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. We are going to put a piece of Pretty Peacock that's 4.25 by 5.5 on it. But first we have to make our background. So I'm going to set this over here and bring over paper to protect my surface. And I am going to start my stamping right off the bat. I am going to be doing a lot of stamping off, and if you don't know what that is, I'll show you while we're doing it. And I'm going to open both ink pads, in case you haven't seen my little trick there to open it. If you pinch the top, it'll pop right open. It's very different than our old pad, so sometimes it's confusing to people how you go about it. And the first stamp set I'm going to use is from Versailles. I love these leaves, and I've used them countless times. And I'm going to ink it up, but then I'm going to stamp it off. The reason I'm going to stamp it off is I just want a slightly lighter version of it. I don't want it super light, but I do want it lighter. And I'm going to stamp it twice, once up above and once down below, so it sort of carries over. And then I'm going to stamp it over here on this side and do the same thing. Oops, I almost forgot to stamp it off. I would have been unhappy with myself. I get so excited when I'm stamping, sometimes I forget to do the things I know I'm supposed to do. I like how that worked. I'm going to set that aside, and now I'm going to ink up the floral part. And one of the things I struggle with sometimes with these stamp sets is that the polymer sets don't ink the same. So I always like to test to see how it's inking. I'm going to go ahead and stamp it and see if there's any parts that are missing. Nope, looks like it's stamping pretty well today. Must be the ink is good on my pad. And I am going to go ahead and use a dauber to add just a touch of color here and there to my card. Now, sometimes when you use a dauber, you actually take ink off. So if I have a problem, I'll show you a little trick I use with my dauber. I'm noticing some little things on the surface of the stamp set. So it could be that my pad is dirty, but we're going to find out. And because it's a fast card, I sort of have to go with what I got, right? I'm going to go ahead and stamp it, and I'm going to hold it down for an extra second or two to make sure it really covers. And it did a good job, so I'm kind of happy. If I had a problem, like I can see right here, I have a little bit of a section that didn't cover. I just very lightly touched it there, and that worked really well. And now I'm going to use what I call the center and just add in a little bit darker color than I've used anywhere else, and it sort of brings the focus back. Now I'm noticing this spot that's a little empty, and I think what I'm going to do is just take a section of my stamp and stamp in there just so that it doesn't look so empty. And then the last part is my thank you that I'm going to stamp in Pretty Peacock. Okay, and I don't know if you can see, but around the edges I have sponged. Now the dauber works great, but Stampin' Up! Just came out with these beautiful brushes. We're going to be having them come January, and I'm going to use one today because I'm just happen to be one of those lucky demos that got to order because I went to a convention. What I like about them is that they're very soft and subtle. You hardly notice when you are using it. You really have to work at building up the color, and that's actually a good thing because you can't get those ugly blobs that you get when you do this. See how that, if I'm doing that, then it's really hard to get that to go away. So I really love the brush. It's so soft. My granddaughter loves to rub her fingers over it. Now today is Friday the 20th, which is one day away from my mom's 85th birthday. So I'm making this card thinking of her, and I'll probably stamp another one with her happy birthday message in it because she loves blue. So if you're watching, Mom, I hope tomorrow's a special day. We're all meeting via Zoom tomorrow. She lives in Colorado, and she is going to be talking to her family that's all over the world. Most of my family, aunts and uncles, are in Brazil. So looking forward to talking to them tomorrow and wishing my mom a happy 85th. So lucky that she's happy and healthy. Albeit closed in because she lives in an assisted living. But can you see how this is developing a beautiful blue tone at the edges and just adding another element of beauty to the card? I don't have to do it because it's a fast card, but I chose to do it. So what I'm going to do now is glue this on here before we put the ribbon around it and let that dry, and we'll do the inside of the card, and we're almost done. Set that aside. I can even put a weight on it. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside. I like to stamp the inside while I am, before I put the cardstock on, because if I make a mistake, I can always make that the front of the card. So I think I'm going to stamp like this. And I did stamp that full strength. I thought that would be okay. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And I'm going to stamp it down here mainly because I figure I can do writing up in here. And what this is I don't know what I would do without you. I think that's such a pretty sentiment for a card that says thank you. Because you know that there's those people out there that are always so helpful. So that's just a nice way to finish up that card. So the last step is to add the ribbon. This is from the Christmas catalog, or the occasions catalog, or the holiday catalog, I like to call it. And I'm going to use my usual trick, which is just tying off a knot. And then pulling it real tight so that it sits the way I want it. Trimming my ends so that they go in the direction I want. And now I just have to decide if I want it vertical or horizontal, because it actually looks pretty good horizontal, doesn't it? I think I'm going to do this one horizontal. That's the nice part about making cards, is that you can often change up a design just based on what you like. And every card is individual. Not every card, even if you repeat it often, needs to be exactly the same. Sort of offsetting it a little bit, just to pull the attention to the word thank you. Now, one of the things that I don't love about some ribbons is it just won't stay put. So I'm going to show you a quick little trick with that as soon as we get this glue down. I'm going to use my green glue. You know how I love that. Gotta get that to stay good. I use glue dots to sort of secure my center right there, and then it doesn't move. So I'm going to pick up a glue dot and my pokey tool. And I don't find the one, you might take your pick tool that I really like, so I'm going to have to use an old pokey tool. I'm going to take my glue dot, sort of roll it up a little bit, and then just bring it down over that spot, and then that little bow won't move. And there you have it. I actually think this card is nicer than my first one, so I hope you've enjoyed today's presentation and this whole week. Don't forget, next Tuesday I will have coffee and cards at 10:30. It's a live event. I will not be having a 1 p.m. one, though. I'm going to try to just do the coffee and cards at a live event, and maybe eventually move all my videos to 10 in the morning. So I hope you have a great weekend, and you've enjoyed today's demonstration, and I'll see you next Monday. Thanks so much.